Today, we made a huge step forward, I think, as an overall community to fill a major gap in Detroit, which is a digital divide. We announced today that we received $23 million of private investment to ensure that every family receives a tablet and free internet access for 6 months. So we'll start receiving those devices in June. We'll rely on our 19 food distribution sites, along with more schools in the DPSCD family to distribute those tablets. So if a student in grades K through 12 was enrolled in DPSCD before March 12th, then they will be able to receive a free laptop and internet access for 6 months. This will allow the distance learning to happen more regularly and consistently. But more importantly, it allows us to continue with learning over the summer through an enrichment way, and also for a way for high school students to gain extra credit or to make up credits that have been lost. And then starting in the fall, students will be able to bring those tablets to school, and we'll be able to expand a bring your own device initiative in the district so that we can do more work online. As we move to distance learning, only about 10 to 20% of our students had consistent access to a device and internet access. So although we developed curriculum, pre-K to 12th grade in reading, math, science, social studies, physical education, and gym, not all of our students could access the material. So although we printed everything out and that distribution started yesterday, this makes a significant investment and allows us to move forward much faster with moving to online learning, which at the minimum allows students to do more learning online through iReady, through Khan Academy, and other online platforms. In the next couple of years, with this investment, we'll be able to move to more of a one-to-one device scenario where we won't have to buy textbooks, rely on workbooks. Things will be online and on tablets, which will reduce our cost to put more funding into other things that we can't do as a district because we have to buy traditional textbooks or workbooks. So it's exciting to make this announcement, and I think it'll go a long way to narrowing not only the achievement gap, which is really an opportunity gap, but allowing our students in Detroit to have the same resources that students have in other districts and cities throughout the country.
We received word on Friday that our COVID-19 continuous learning plan was approved, and we are continuing to implement the plans that we began to put in place shortly after the governor's initial order. We are also rolling out a process to get devices to families who need them in the next several days. All of our families who do not have devices or internet access will be notified on how to receive their device next week. The foundation of our plan includes an advisory model where all 3,500 of our students at all 6 of our buildings are assigned an advisory teacher who manages their individual student learning plan. The advisory teacher coordinates support for each individual student and their family, including non-academic needs related to COVID-19 or other basic needs. The advisory teacher works closely with the special education staff to make sure that the student is able to participate successfully in our remote learning educational programming.
In looking forward to the fall, what are you all talking about in terms of how you're going to keep students safe?
I am optimistic that we will go back to school after Labor Day as planned. I'm hoping that by July we could do some face-to-face instruction for summer, especially for students at the high school level that want to make up credits, or seniors that have to make up credits to graduate and move on to college life in the workforce. So if and when we go back, we will dramatically promote self-analysis of health based on the symptoms linked to COVID, and hopefully create a sense of awareness among our employees and children that if they show symptoms, they need to stay at home. Now that we will have tablets and internet access, for those children that are showing symptoms or family members that aren't in a place to make sure their children are coming to school every day, we can continue learning at home more readily than we could before. And employees can work from home as well, so they can continue to support students if they're in a state to do that. Our custodial staff will be deep cleaning schools daily. So after the day, frequently touched objects like doorknobs, desks. We are probably also looking at limiting movement in hallways so we don't have a large congregation of students moving. We're probably going to be separating desks in classrooms and trying to reduce class size even more. Probably look at hybrid schedules so that you're not taking maybe as many classes, so that way we can reduce class sizes, and also relying more on online learning as well. So if again, families, students are not in a place to go to school every day, then we can do more online learning, especially with employees that may have to remain at home too. So those are our initial thoughts. A lot of questions are coming in about athletics, so I'll just answer that. I think by maybe late May, June, we can start doing some training, weight training, sprinting, conditioning, and work with our coaches in order to do that in a safe way. But I know how important athletics is to our students and our community, and it's a necessary outlet as long as we can do it in a safe way.
By getting devices and getting internet to all of our students starting next week, we're already planning a virtual summer school, regardless of if we're able to go back in the building or not go back into the building. We've already began to train our staff. We have quite a few seniors right now, 83% of them who are actively engaged in our Google Classroom and Zoom and virtual learning. We are giving them grades because we still don't know what's going to happen when they go to college. A pass, non-pass grade can sometimes impact your grade point average, although I'm sure that our universities will take COVID into consideration. But we're looking at if they're mastering the standards and the content areas of the classes that they need to take, and then what does that equate to from a standard-based grading as far as giving them a letter grade that tells what their mastery level is. And so we're just trying to position ourselves with all of those best practices that should be in place anyway. And we know that our students are at a disadvantage with the technology divide and that kind of thing. And we're trying to position ourselves where we can make sure that we fill that gap and we can move forward and we can train our staff to be prepared for whatever guidance we're given.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.